Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fitness Friday. I have, of course, my fun friend, Coach Idris, is going to join me, and we're just going to have a chat about, there are, oh my gosh, I totally forgot my topic for a second there. No, I mean, we have these times where we actually, just get to a point in our workout and our nutrition where it stops working for us. And I kind of want to address that today because a lot of us out there, we either think that diets or fitness plans don't work for us, but sometimes we just need to make adjustments to make those happen for us. So let me bring my friend Coach Idris on. I'm going to put on his introduction and we'll bring him on in a second. And let me introduce you to my friend Coach Idris. He is a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer with 25 years experience. Idris specializes in women's fitness through NASM. He is a nutritional counselor, certified EMT, and LVN. He has worked helping hundreds of clients from high school to professional athletes and housewives to CEOs of companies to achieve their weight loss and fitness goals. He is the former 2002 Mr. USA bodybuilding champion with 20 years of competition experience. He's also an Air Force military veteran where he served in Desert Storm as a combat medic. Everybody help me welcome my friend, Coach Idris. Hello. Oh, I have you muted again.
Good job.
I'm on it today, man. I'm like, it's one of those days. This is what happens to me is when I think that everything's going smoothly and everything's like easy, then I forget, I got to remember what I'm going to say before I get on. And I might need to actually like unmute Idris.
That's all right. All good in the hood. It does not matter. It's all good.
You'll forgive me, right? I'll just leave my finger on the button in case I want to mute you again.
Yeah, just in case.
So we were talking a little bit about the weekend and what we were doing, and you still have your girl that's getting repaired, her body's getting repaired from surgery, and so just want to send my love to her. Just wanted her to know that. So
yeah, she definitely could use that. Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of wanted to pick this topic because I think this is one that I'm kind of getting to. I kind of fell off the bandwagon for a little bit there, and in the next couple weeks, I need to step up my game. And I think there's just so many people out there who try a diet, they try going to the gym, and sometimes they get to the point where they feel like it just doesn't work anymore, and then they give up. And so I don't know, I kind of wanted to address that, and maybe from any clients that you've seen, like signs that they need to step up their game, or just that it's time to level up. We have different points in our life where we're like, okay, you can either stay stagnant or let's level up and do something better with our lives.
Yeah, I think if you're really paying attention to yourself and just how people's lives flow in general, we always have lulls and things are going great, things are going, it's like that everywhere. And I think a lot of people expect their workouts to always produce the same results. Like they'll do a program and they're dieting or they're whatever, and they think it's going to last forever. And that's not realistic. It's not going to happen like that. Just like if you're with a company, companies evolve, right? Products evolve. You look at something like a grill. Grills today don't look like grills 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So they improved the grills. So same thing with a CPR. I've been just doing CPR now for almost 40 years. It's always changing. Always. It used to be ABCs. Now it used to be circulate. It used to be airway, breathing, circulation. Now it's circulation, breathing, airway.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. They keep changing. It's always changing. So I think the same thing with workouts. If you're doing something, and the average person is only working out, doing what they're told. They don't usually know what they're doing. They just know that what they're doing works. So when it stops, they really get confused. They don't even know why it's working to begin with. They just know it's working.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I mean, think about that. If you were doing anything, if somebody said here, do this, do it this way, and you were doing it, the minute it doesn't work anymore, you wouldn't have any clue what to do next. But if they told you, this is what you're going to do, this is how it works, this is why it's working, this make, you know, and they break it all down for you, then when something doesn't work, you'd be like, okay, well, I know this right here is affecting this, let me change that. This affects that, so let me change that. So that's how you got to understand workouts. You got to understand the workouts you're doing. You got to understand how the food that you're eating, why the diet's working. And if you know why it's working, then you know why it's not working.
Yeah.
Now, you may not know where to go from there, but you will know, okay, this isn't working anymore because even if whatever diet you're on is going to stop working at some point.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to change it. Like I said, with Bailey, I've done 20 diets with Bailey over a year. I changed it at least 15, 20 times. So, because it stops working. Sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes a month, sometimes a couple of days. She's like, I'm feeling this. Okay, let's change it now. So, and sometimes I change diet. Sometimes I change cardio. Sometimes I add different types of cardio. Sometimes I change training. So stepping up is a lot of different things when it comes to fitness and nutrition. Stepping up could be done a whole bunch of ways.
Yeah. And I think there's just so many of us that get a cookie cutter diet from our friend or our sister or whatever, and we don't really realize and take into account that our bodies are different and it's going to work for each body differently in that way. And we all get different results. And so you can't really expect to see those same results that somebody else saw unless it's really like a plan that's designated for you and what results you want out of it. And like a lot of people,
you have to be open-minded. Number one, you have to be patient. Good luck with that one. Most people are not patient. You have to be realistic. You have to have common sense. You have to be consistent. Like, there's a lot of things that come into it, why something's not working. Because a lot of times things aren't working because you just ain't doing it like you're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah. Which is probably the majority of the time what happens, right?
Which is the majority of the time. Like, even what you're supposed to be doing, you're not doing right. You know?
Right? A lot of times I'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh, I'm on this diet plan. I'm like, oh, so how's that going for you? Well, I did it Tuesday and Friday, but I didn't do it the rest of the time. So it's
exactly.
Exactly. Okay, how are you going to see any results and know how to change that?
And they'll tell you it's not working. Oh, this didn't work for me. You didn't do it. I've had a few clients in my history, not too many, because you don't really enjoy these kind of people, but they'll do nothing. They'll do nothing that you ask, and then say, "Oh, well, he's a good trainer. It just didn't work for me." What didn't work for you? You didn't do anything I asked you to do. You did 10% of what I asked you. Every time I asked you to do cardio, you didn't do it. Every time I asked you you didn't do it. What are you talking about? It didn't work. Yeah. You get that, and they'll spread that. They'll actually tell other people. Another person like, oh well. So no, it's kind of frustrating to deal with people like that. But there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people who kind of halfway do something and then say, well, it doesn't. I've had a guy say this to me, but I've had a couple of women, and I've been doing it a long time, so not a ton of them, but I've had a couple. Exercise doesn't work for me. Doesn't even make any sense. Like, what do you mean doesn't work for you? What are you trying to do? Everybody doesn't exercise for the same reasons. So I didn't even know what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work for you how? Like, it doesn't help you lose weight? No, it's not going to help you lose weight. Dieting helps you lose weight. So no, exercise is supposed to help you lose weight. Exercise is supposed to get you in shape. You can be in shape and not lose weight. Happens all the time. People in the gym right now working out for years, and they're strong, and they have energy, and they can hike, and they're still 40 pounds overweight. They still fit 30 pounds overweight, and they're frustrated because they can't get the weight off. But they're in shape. They're in good shape.
Yeah, I have a friend that actually always talks to me about fitness, and she's very fit, and she's constantly doing marathons. She's constantly doing all this running, and she's like, I just can't. No matter how healthy and how sporty I am, I can't get my weight down. And I'm like, well, are you still having pasta every night? Yeah. Well, like if you love your pasta, I mean, a lot of
Because
runners are needing
Well,
that
because they
nutrition,
get
you know?
because they could think about that. If you like to eat and you're in a sport that takes endurance, and they tell you, well, you should carb load for your to go run.
Hmm.
If you're running for if you're doing a marathon, yes. If you're just out running, no. But if you're doing a marathon, yeah. But how often are people doing marathon? You ain't doing a marathon every day, 4 days a week. You're only doing a marathon probably once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So
And I remember,
what are you carb loading for just to go out on a run? Unless you
I
and
remember,
if you're an Olympic athlete or a college athlete doing it, you're probably in shape doing it.
yeah. Well, too, I mean, she looks great still, but she's not where she wants to be. And,
That has nothing to do with. I don't
and
judge. The one thing I don't do is tell people how to look. You can look any way you want, but if you tell me you want to lose weight, I don't care how much. I don't care what you look like. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
yeah,
So it has, and that's what people automatically do too. I'm glad you did it. Actually, is they always think that fitness is always about everybody's doing it for their looks.
yeah,
Everybody ain't in the gym for looks. Okay, everybody's not in it for looks. Some people are in there because they get the stress out. They have stressful careers and they go in there and Joe Rogan talks about that. He goes and hits the bag and does his martial arts and does his jujitsu and hits the weights as a stress reliever.
yeah,
He watches what he eats because the less carbs in you, the less inflammation you have, the less So everything that I do, me too. I'm 56. I ain't competing. I ain't out there on beach with my flexing my body for.
Hey, I
I'm
saw
just
your picture that you posted of your, like, where was that, like Miami or something, where you
yeah.
did a photo shoot?
But that was different. But that was during my competition days. I'm taking photos. I didn't do. I just put it this way: you ain't see me doing that if it wasn't a camera there. You don't see me doing that with my kids or like you didn't see me like that.
Well, you're
I
not
didn't.
walking around
I
in a
wasn't that
speedo.
guy. I wasn't that guy at the beach walking around with his. I didn't do that. I covered
All
it up.
right,
I
you
always
were over at Muscle Beach. You were like
doing
shining.
doing photo shoots. I never went to Muscle Beach walking around with my shirt off. I'll tell you that right now. Not me. I wasn't that guy.
No speedo with the rollerblades. Do you remember
No
those
speedos.
speedos back in the
But
80s?
we did corny photo shoots.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Me and Dexter Jackson and just Stan and the whole crew, and we had the fitness models, and we were out there volleyball and doing all, but that was just for the cameras, man. We didn't do
That's hilarious.
When we finished, we were out of there, man.
No, it's funny because I always remember watching like those shows in the 80s where like they would have Muscle Beach, right? And like they would have all these huge bodybuilders out there. They'd be like rollerblading in their speedos and stuff. And I'm like, if I
Yeah.
ever really see that in real life, like
There are people doing that. I'll be
yeah,
honest with you. There are people doing that, but you probably would never see a professional bodybuilder doing that.
yeah,
You see a regular person that's working out and cut up and loves their physique. They might be out there doing that,
yeah,
but you probably will never see a professional because we're not doing it for that reason.
yeah,
We're competing. We're actually going on stage and challenging our muscle against other people doing what we're doing. We're not trying to pick up chicks with our, what I'm saying? Not that some aren't not that some aren't doing that, but that's not the goal.
Oh, I am wondering what kind of chick you're gonna pick up if you're in a speedo and in rollerblades. I just don't really know that that's the most attractive look for a guy. Maybe I'm
Hey,
different than most girls.
different strokes for different folks. That's all I got to say
Trying
about.
to attract a different
That's
clientele.
all I got to say about that. if you want, you attract what you attract.
No, that's awesome. No, I love seeing people out there just doing their thing. I mean, that's what I loved about living in Hawaii, because you could literally go to the grocery store and in your bikini and you'd be one of 10 women in the grocery store shopping, and it's kind of cool to see people just be them and be comfortable in their own skin. So I kind of love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I said, that's why I said this guy's doing that. I just wasn't one of them, but I also don't care. I also don't really care. There's a lot of people that love to show. You see it on, the internet now. Everybody's, everybody needs to show their body for some reason. Like, I don't think I want to see everybody's body. I mean, I don't. Everybody thinks people want to see their bodies.
Hey, you know what's crazy though is I tried to take a flex, like a Friday flex or flex Friday picture, right? And I was at the gym and I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable taking pictures at the gym. I don't know why. I just have never been the person.
Most people do. Some people love it. Some people love the attention. Some people don't. So
yeah, but you know what? I actually have kudos for those who have the confidence to just be able to do it, because here I am, like I'm at the gym and I'm like, nobody see me taking a picture of myself, right? And I'm like trying to hide my camera. And then I realized I didn't look at the picture before I left. I got home and I'm like, I wasn't even flexing the picture. I didn't even flex for my Flex Friday. I'm just standing
the flex
there.
part. I got the Friday part. I got the flex part.
Yeah, I was just so nervous and trying to hide my phone that I was taking a picture that I didn't even do what I was trying to do. And I'm like, no.
It's uncomfortable. I think for most people, when everybody's staring at them, it's uncomfortable. Some people love it.
Yeah.
And some people love it. And then I don't even think it's a thing. Like, a lot of people always say that. I wish I could do that. It ain't no big old deal. It ain't like you're the bravest person in the world because you don't care if people are looking at you. I don't think that's a big deal.
I know. I think that there's something beautiful about that. I think it's a type of confidence that, I don't know, like you just don't care what people think, I guess, maybe.
I don't believe that. I don't believe people don't care. I think they do care. How could you not care what people think about you? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
People say it all the time, and I'm like, do you realize what you're saying? So people can run around and say you're a serial killer, and you're perfectly fine with that. They can walk around saying you're a liar, you're a thief, and you're a bad person. You really want that going on around about you, and it's not even true? Probably not. So I do care what people think. Now, I don't change the way I do my thing for people. I'm not going to change the way I dress for you, or I'm going to still do me. But I do care what you think about me. All right. Now, if you just don't like that I'm direct, you don't like that I don't. That's your problem, because I'm not mean. I'm not malicious. I don't try to hurt nobody, but I am direct. You don't like that I'm direct. That's your problem. I'm not changing that for you, because some people love that I'm direct. See what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I mean. I don't. People, you got to be you, but I don't change because you think I should change. I think because I think I should change. If I think I'm mean or I think then I'm like, you know what? That's not okay. You need to change that. That's not cool. Yeah. But otherwise, I don't. I just think it's funny when people say, "Oh God, that person. I wish I had that confidence." You got that confidence in other areas of your life. You don't have it there, but you got it somewhere else. Yeah. And they might not have that confidence in the areas you're confident in.
Yeah.
And honestly, when it comes to confidence, like Bailey's doing a show and she's all nervous about it's in December. She's nervous. I'm like, because you've never done it and you're not where you're not where you're supposed to be. But when you get closer and closer to looking like you're supposed to, your confidence is going to go up. Because you're like, oh, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah.
I go, but right now, how could you be confident? You've never, you know what I'm saying? You've never done a show. You've never been on stage. You've never been that cut before. But she's watching all the abs come in. Her legs are starting to come in. Everything and more coming, the happier she's getting. I'm like, just let that process, keep happening. So, yeah, I'm not one of those people that, oh, I'm so proud. Look at her. She's good for her. No.
I celebrate everybody's confidence because where I lack, I want to give to other people.
But what I mean is, we don't know if that's confidence. That could be arrogance. Yeah. That could be conceit.
Yeah.
That could be I'm throwing stuff in your faces because I don't care about none of you. It's not always confidence. It's not always. It's not. Y'all act like it's a great thing that they're this way. Some people are that way because they're trying to shut all you up. I'm gonna make all you look bad, and they talk down on people. It ain't always a good thing. That's my point.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that we kind of went into talking about this because I have a friend that has actually was told about a year and a half ago. I'd love to have her on the show. I think I'm going to have her on one time, but she found out from her doctors that she could end up losing her life. You know, like we've talked about this, like where people decide to make changes when they have to, not just to make themselves
I say that all the time. People don't care until they do care.
Yeah, and
So they get that news from the doctor.
Yeah, she got that news from the doctor and she made changes and she's lost a ton of weight. And you can see the confidence that she has. She never ever posted any pictures of herself before she started losing weight. And now she's feeling sexy. She's feeling beautiful. She's posting pictures and people all of a sudden, because they're not used to seeing that, are kind of like just bad mouthing her, saying all these bad things all the time, you know. And she just posted something this morning that says, don't, if you don't like what I post, just keep scrolling. But this is me like showing my new confidence in myself. I'm proud of myself, and so I love seeing stuff like that because I think people like that, like when they have never had that confidence in that area before and they can see themselves as bettering themselves, I think it's a beautiful thing, but I see what you're saying though, how there are people out there who are just like, oh, look at me, like I look great, and
no, but what I'm saying is like her, for instance. People are describing this is kind of what I mean. I don't look at something and label it because I don't know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say confidence. I'm not going to say anything. I just notice. I just see it.
Yeah.
This woman is finally seeing her results and she's sharing it. And she has, trust me, there's people, I mean, they're in her friends list making comments, people that she knows making comments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm always careful. I go, look, if you're going to put stuff on the internet, be ready for both.
Yeah.
Be ready for both because some people are going to hate you. Some people are going to love you. Now, why would anybody hate you? Because you're just like Adele. Look what Adele was, always a beautiful lady and everybody always, oh, she's so cute and she's not good for her. And as soon as she lost the weight, they dogged her out. Women, I guarantee you there ain't one man in her comment section. Guarantee, because men don't do that. If a woman loses weight and gets in great shape, men do not dog. Men are not going to talk about that. Women do. It's it's like almost, how dare you? You are our hero, so to speak, for not losing, for being. I think a lot of these. What do I think? I think a lot of women who do that, who dog out somebody like Adele for losing weight or whatever, I think they believe that when the person is heavier, they're being defiant. And when they don't do it anymore, they're almost like, how could you not stick to your guns and give into the meat? I don't know, give into society. I don't know what, but it seems like that. Like they're mad at them for giving in to losing weight. When the only reason Adele, I don't know her, but I got a pretty good feeling that she lost weight for the same reasons most people do. It's healthier to keep your weight down. Diabetes, bone density issues, injury issues, joint issues, heart issues, visceral fat issues, liver, like all the issues that come with obesity is why she lost weight. I guarantee you it wasn't for any other reason than she was like, if I want a longevity, I need to lose weight. Just like this lady that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's why they lost the weight. They lost the weight because it's everybody knows it's healthier to not be too heavy. I'll tell you about me. I was 285 in shape, and that was too much for me. I was tired all the time. It was hard to move because I was just too big. And I was muscular. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that I'm muscular. I'm still big. And it's hard. And my heart is working extra, and my body's working extra, and my joints have a lot of stress on it. So I don't know. I just wish the world would. I wish people would stop. critiquing other people for living the lives that they want to live.
Well, I think it went from like all of a sudden, well, she was a role model for so long to say it's okay to be big and beautiful, right?
But she wasn't doing that.
No, but
She
for
wasn't
them,
even doing that.
no, I know what you're saying. Like she wasn't promoting it, but I think that's how her fans saw her, right? And they
That's
were
my
like,
point. They
big
actually
and beautiful,
believed that
right?
she was okay with this, and she was never okay with it.
Yeah.
They tried to make her do something she didn't want to do by putting her in that position, and the whole time she was like, "No, this is not okay for me."
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're all just kind of like bummer about it because they're like, well, now she's not my big and beautiful role model anymore. Now she's like going against everything that we thought that we perceived her standing for, right? And
well, and it's really sad because what is that? What are you standing for?
Yeah.
Like what? I would love for somebody, if anybody out there would love to explain to me why someone would get upset with somebody for making a life choice that has nothing to do with them. If somebody can please hit me up and explain it to me.
Well, we talked about this before, right? Where it's just like you have those friends that aren't going to be supportive. They actually are the opposite of supportive when you try to do something healthy for your life because it's their own issue, right? It's not your issue. It's them saying, well, you were on my level for so long. Now you're taking your life to a healthier level. And I have an issue with that because that means that I have to actually look at myself and say, okay, I need to be a better friend, or I can not be supportive so that they'll come back to where I'm at so that I feel more comfortable about myself, right?
And like what you just said, I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure there's a thousand other things that people conjure up inside. Because really, the truth is this, is whoever's doing this is making it up in their head because they don't know nothing about Adele. Nothing. They have no idea why she's overweight. Like no one chooses to be overweight unless you're trying. Like me, I chose to be overweight. I chose to put that type of size on. Most people don't do that with body fat. They don't choose to have more body fat because it's legitimately not good to do. So anyone who has high body fat doesn't want to be there. They're not, unless you're like, oh, a sumo wrestler or just somebody that has football players on the line. Like you got to do that. Yeah. But everybody knows, if you know anything about football, most of those guys, those big guys in the trenches, when they retire, not good. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Leg amputations from obesity, diabetes, heart disease, because that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. And a lot of them don't stop eating when they retire. It's because you got to complete, like me, I don't eat nearly what I ate when I competed. Because I knew, I was like, I can't keep these. I'm not working out like that no more. I'm older, metabolism's slowing down a little bit. I can't eat like that. I can't eat like that. Yeah. So I think when you, like we were talking about stepping it up, you know, Adele changed the way she stepped up her game. And I guarantee you she's happier because she's lighter, she feels better, she looks in the mirror, she sees what she always wanted to see.
Yeah.
And everyone who actually puts her down, they're only putting her down because it makes you feel like the whole world is against you when no one's even really thinking about you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Ain't nobody thinking about you.
Yeah.
They're not. I know I ain't. I'm thinking about my health and my family. You know, I think about you if I'm working with you, but generally everybody is the right to do what they want. So It's a weird thing. But I think don't be afraid to, like your friend who's posting her pictures. She's not posting the pictures for people who don't support her. She's posting pictures for people who do. So don't worry about the ones who don't.
And maybe also, I mean, I think the thing that's so beautiful about what she posts and that she's like posting all of her results and what she's been able to do for herself is that it could be motivational for somebody in her same shoes to say, hey, guess what? I want to take an opportunity to change my life before I get to the point where the doctor tells me I have to do it or I'm going to lose my life, you know? So I love seeing the things that she posts because to me, that's what it represents, right? It represents like somebody who's able to get from one point to another and see that success and tell people out there that it's possible and that you don't need to wait until a doctor says that to you.
tell her too, whenever she's, sharing, and she gets some person with, look, the bottom line is a lot of people are angry. A lot of people are just angry. Like, I'm doing a series. I don't know if you saw the series I'm doing on 10 rules to getting back into the dating scene. I'm doing a series of that on my podcast.
I'll have to check it out.
And the first one was understanding yourself. Like, and I'm talking about once you're single again, you're like, okay, I'm single. I want to move on I need to move on to a new work relationship. So I'm doing 10 rules that I believe, at least they helped me, and that I've read just from different people. And the first one is understanding self. Like, what am I asking other people to date? Like, I know what you do, but what am I asking you to date? Am I a guy worth dating? You know what I mean? Like, am I a quality date? And a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
And this is all part of it. Okay, am I somebody that somebody looks at as a healthy person mentally? Am I a good candidate for someone else to have in their life? And then they don't do that. They just don't do it. And then my second one, yesterday was make that list and work on those things. Step up your game, like you're saying. Be a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
So when you said today, like, step up your game, and I told you, I said, there's so many areas that covers, and that's what Adele did. She said, you know what, I want more. And I guarantee you she's happier. Guarantee. There's no way she's not, because I don't know how she lost the weight. I think, did she do a surgery or did she do it?
I feel like I heard something about a surgery, but I never actually looked it up. So
because I believe in the surgeries at some point. At some point, it's you need to have the surgery. I don't like the surgery because it doesn't build mental toughness, it doesn't build discipline, doesn't build habits, it doesn't really change why the person overeats. Usually people overeat for a reason. You got to address that reason so that when they do lose the weight, they're not overeating anymore. so that reason I have a problem with the surgery is because once you have it, your diet becomes even more restrictive, and you weren't even doing well before you got all those restrictions. You already had a problem. Now you're even more strict to a person who doesn't have that kind of discipline. That's really hard to do. That's why most people put the weight back on, because they've never changed the way they do things. And fitness, stepping up your game, ladies and gentlemen, anyone listening. Stepping up your game doesn't mean I'm just going to work harder. It's you're trying to become more disciplined at what you already do. So you're already doing this. You're trying to be more disciplined at what you already do, and then add another thing on.
I like that. I love that. I love how you said that, actually, because I think
stepping up your game is not all like, I'm gonna be a rock star. No, it's like, okay, right now I eat pretty good. Let me do even better. I'm still cheating a little extra. Let me go ahead and back off of that.
Yeah,
because it's normal. It's normal to, like, with all my clients. I don't expect them to do it like Tony. Tony's like, Idris, I've been killing some peanut butter.
I don't even like to have peanut butter in my house because I'm so addicted to it. I'm like, if my kids leave a candy bar or a chocolate bar sitting around and I know I have a jar of peanut butter, I seriously feel like I totally feel like I don't care about drugs.
You got the rubber around your arm. You're like, shooting peanut butter in your veins.
I totally do, and I will not stop if I have like even a bag full of candy bars. This is why Halloween is dangerous for me, and I should not keep peanut butter in my closet when Halloween.
You know the little jars of peanut butter, small ones.
She
ate a whole one this week.
Yeah, I could literally eat one of those in one day. Like that's how much I love it.
She showed restraint by eating a little bit of it every day. She goes, it was a couple here.
Yeah.
But I go like this. I said, trust me. I said, do you notice I don't get mad at you for doing that? I was like, if you're gonna do that with something, do it with peanut butter.
So you're saying it's okay?
Well, the thing is you gotta have something. The only people that I won't do that with are people competing.
Yeah.
Because we got to be ready. We got to be ready on a certain day. But people who are just trying to change their lifestyle to a healthier lifestyle and for longevity, have some peanut butter. Because you start, because like with Bailey, for instance, I never pushed Bailey to, because Bailey came out the Navy, man. She was used to drinking beer and shooting pool with a friend. Like she was 26 and just loving it, right? Eating, barbecuing. So she's I've seen her change over time where, okay, I like beer. What can I drink instead of beer? All right, try some mixed drinks. Okay, I'll find my favorite mixed drink. And then it went from mixed drinks to like, I don't even miss alcohol. She don't miss the food. She don't miss none of it. None of it. She's like, I'm cool. She goes, I'm cool. And I told her, you'll get there, because I used to be the same way. And now I can eat clean and I can say no to anything. It doesn't. So it's a process, and it's a process that you have to just continue to work towards. Don't think you can jump. You can't jump this process, and that's what those surgeries are, to jump the process.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you really feel, way overweight, and it's just, at some point, I think it is necessary. It's just really, really hard for people to stick to a diet that they've never been forced to stick to. And the only reason they're sticking to it is because of a surgery. And after time, they stretch it down. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. So when you're stepping up your game, I think small increments are better than big ones. I don't think you should pick too big a chunk. Like, I'm gonna start doing more cardio this week. That's it. Just add cardio. Don't like when I do diet prep. Any good trainer who's getting people ready for contests never makes two changes at the same time, because you don't know. Like, I'm not gonna drop your carbs and add cardio. I'm gonna just drop the carbs, see what happens, get everything out of that carb drop before I start messing around with cardio. Because once you start adding cardio, now you're in the gym all day. And most people don't have time for that. So I try to figure, okay, I got to get them to lose weight within their framework of their day, with their kids and their families and their food. Same, you got to work it in. And that's the hard part, is trying to make it work with someone's schedule.
Yeah. And I think like really kind of the first step to being able to up your level in it is really kind of what we talked about in the first place, is just that you have to be honest with yourself. Are you actually doing the plan that you're doing? Because if you're not sticking to that plan, how do you make a change to level up?
How do you judge it? You can't really judge it because you ain't doing it.
Yeah. So you really need to be honest with yourself. Like even my friend who runs marathons and is constantly training, running all the time, if I ran as much as her and I was eating the way that I eat, like on the plan that you've given me, I would be like,
you couldn't do it.
I would have no energy. I'd be eating like probably every 10 times a day, right? But
yeah, you can't do your program the way you're eating and be a runner.
Yeah.
You can do it. You could be a sprinter. You can do sprints, but you can't do long distance run. There's no glycogen stores. There's no glycogen stored up. You'll go out there 10 minutes in, your blood sugar will drop so low. Yeah, you'd be a mess.
Yeah, that's how I did a little bit harder workout the other day than I usually do. And it's interesting because you don't realize how much your body actually needs that energy when you're not used to putting out that much effort, right? And I think that like when you understand your body a little bit more, because you are being honest with yourself about the things that you're doing, because I'm like wanting to up my level a little bit. And I think that most people just don't start there. They just don't start with, okay, I'm going to be completely honest with what I'm doing. I'm still snacking here. I need to remove those snacks, and I think that that's where people have a hard time, and they feel stuck and they feel like these things don't work, or maybe they've done a plan. And
but you got to remember too, you're more knowledgeable than most of the people that we're talking to. So they may not even know that this little thing is causing that big of a problem for them.
Yeah.
Like with cheese. Remember Bailey with the cheese, and she was like, I let her have cheese until I was like, can we take the cheese out for about a week, see if see if there's a change. And she was like, oh my God, please. I go, if there's no change, fine. But if there's a change, we'll know cheese how it affects you. Because everybody's different. Everybody doesn't get affected the same way. We took the cheese out. She dropped 3 or 4 pounds. She was pissed because she wanted to keep it in.
I know cheese is another one of those things that I love. It's like peanut butter and cheese. I could put cheese on almost anything that I want to eat.
But peanut butter weight on you, if unless you do a lot of it, because it's high in calorie. Cheese will put weight on you just because of the dairy aspect of it. So
yeah.
And some, like I say, some people can do cheese and nothing. So it's not that cheese is going to definitely do it, but you got to at least see if it does. But you'll never know if your diet's all over the place. Yeah. See, everything had to be consistent before I could just pull one thing out and then see what happens.
Yeah.
So with her, I just pulled one thing out. Nothing else changed, just the cheese. And she went down 3 pounds. Yeah. So we know it's the cheese. If you're all over the place, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's why consistency is important. Routine is important. And then over time, you can loosen it up. I tell people, once you're in great shape, you can loosen it up. Now your diet predominantly is right. Most of the time you're doing exactly what you're supposed to. And then off on the side, you're having a little of this or a little bit of that or a little bit of that. It's not the bulk of your 90% of your diet is the way it's supposed to be. And you do that once you get where you want to be. But as far as stepping it up, like we said, guys, that's what this episode is about, how to step it up. There's a myriad of ways. You can step it up by cardio. You can step it up by diet. You can step it up by weights. You can step it up by reps. You can step it up by rest periods, shorten your rest periods. You can step it up by how heavy you go, lower reps. Sometimes a lot of women, especially who don't really understand working out, always do high reps. They think high reps. Everybody gets caught up in respiratory. I want to breathe heavy. Really, people get caught up in sweat. I don't know why people think sweating equates to weight loss, but it's just because you sweat doesn't mean you're going to lose weight, right?
You mean I can't go to a sauna and lose 10 pounds?
Yeah, people really.
You'll lose a little bit, right? Because you're losing like that water weight a little bit.
Well,
right?
you lose, but you're forcing it out. It's not coming out naturally, which means what? It's going to rebound. You're going to put it back on because it didn't come out because of a process. It came out because if I walk out, if I go to a sauna, and they also get it from watching athletes. They see athletes do that, but athletes are doing it to weigh in, one weigh in. They don't realize they the next day they're 10 pounds heavier. The very next day, 10 pounds heavier.
Wow.
Because it was forced out. It didn't work its way off over time. It was just like a diuretic. If you lose weight from a diuretic, it's forcing the diuretic's making you pee. You ain't peeing because the body's releasing it. You're forcing it out of the body. Anything you force out is going to be a rebound. Just like when we do like when we get on stage, we rebound. We rebound that week. All of us. Every bodybuilder knows this. We all know that we're going to put weight back on in about 4 days. We got to keep our carbs low. We got to keep everything low if we want to keep down there. Because the minute we increase those carbs, weight's coming back on. And because we carb loaded at the contest, we have carbs in us waiting for water. And as soon as we start drinking water, we start holding all of that water. So yeah, and think about that. People are manipulating, with saunas and diet pills, and they have no idea what's going to really, really happen when they do this. Because somebody said, "Oh, take a diuretic." Somebody said, "Get into the sauna." Somebody. Yeah. Who's this somebody person? Like, who is this? Or their friend will tell them, but their friend can't tell them why it works. Or his friend won't. Well, my friend said this. Okay. More. Tell me more. Because I know it doesn't work, so I want to hear why you think it works. Because I know what's going on there, but I need to hear it. So I think if you want to step up your program, you need to talk to people who understand what that means, and you also need to get on a consistent program. That the one you're on needs to be consistent before you think you can step something up. Yeah. The one that you're doing has to actually be working. You have to actually understand why it's working, so you know where to step it up, how much to step it up, how often to step it up.
And
Right?
don't be just doing it for 2 days and say, oh, I need to step it up now. You have to like be consistent, like what you're saying, and do it over. How long do you usually tell people, or like, how long is somebody on a program usually before you say, hey, let's make some changes? Or is it just
Well,
depend on your body, I guess?
we don't, well, the way I do it, which I'm always making changes. No workout is the same anyway. Because the minute I see you can do five, if I see you do 0 push-ups, and all of a sudden we start going, I'm trying to strengthen your chest so you can do, you get stronger. And all of a sudden I'm seeing 2 push-ups. I'm constantly trying to get more push-ups out of you. So I'll go, okay, try push-ups this week, and I'll see 8. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I won't do push-ups for weeks. But I'm doing all the muscles that I know make push-ups stronger. Then I'll say, okay, try it again. Then she's doing 15. Then I won't do it again for weeks. Because doing it every day is stupid. She ain't gonna do 11 the next day if she can only do 10 today. It's not gonna change daily.
Yeah.
So I do all the things that make her stronger with that, and then we try it again later. So that's the test. The test is, this is what you're doing now. Let's make sure all that improves in 6 weeks. And then, okay, now let's make sure all that improves. And you're constantly doing that. So that's why that question you ask is kind of hard. You're never supposed to settle for it. You're always looking to improve. You're always looking to advance. And sometimes some body parts are getting stronger than others, or getting stronger faster than others.
Yeah.
So it's so particular as far as how to step it up, when to step it up. It's just, nothing is that easy. I really wish it was, folks. But if it was really easy, everyone would be in shape. The entire planet would walk around, everybody looking like Amazonian.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It would be, yeah.
Yeah.
It was easy, everybody would look great. So it's not easy. And it's because it requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of time, experience. But it also has to be something that you got to learn to like being in shape. You got to learn to like it, and then it's easier to do.
Yeah.
It's much easier to do something you like to do than something you don't like to do.
Here's the thing: is change is hard, right? Like we are creatures of habit, and unless we change to have healthier habits or better habits, we'll keep doing those same old habits that we've done, right? And change seems so hard, but once you get in the habit of living a healthier lifestyle, once you get in the habit of having better fitness, then all of a sudden that is your habit, and it becomes easier. It becomes more of what you can actually do for yourself. And that's kind of what I've been really like working on and trying to understand, especially like with all the stress stuff that I've been talking to you about, is I've been trying to create better habits for my stress instead of leaning on food and being like, oh, I deserve a treat today because I was so stressed out, right? Like it's just always where my brain is gone. Instead, I'm trying to say, you know what, maybe today I feel stressed out, so I'm going to go to the gym, kind of like what you were saying.
But what you're doing is you're first acknowledging that you feel this way. Then you're making a decision on how you want to deal with it. Most people aren't doing that. They just eat when they're stressed. They don't go, oh, I'm stressed out, I need to go eat. They just go eat.
Yeah.
And then after they eat, they're like, what did I do that for? Why did I eat all that?
Yeah.
So what you're doing, what you've developed is awareness. This is what I'm doing. This is kind of what I was saying about my 10 rules of getting it back into the dating scene. If you don't know who you are and why you do the things you do and how you respond to things, how are you going to pick a partner? Because don't you got to pick a partner that's going to be okay with the you that you are? Because there's things about us that some people can't deal with and other people have no problem with it.
Yeah.
So you have to actually go, okay. And that's why I think that's kind of why I did this dating thing, just to let you know. It's because I keep getting questions from people and I'm like, don't people understand that, we have to first know what we're asking someone to take on?
And would you want to take on yourself if you
and would you want to take on yourself? Would you want to take on you?
Yeah.
Like people don't do that. They just look at everybody else and critique everybody else. Oh, he's this. I'm like, oh, you never say anything nice. You're angry all the time.
Or they have this crazy list that they're like, this person has to be this, but they don't ever reflect and say, am I even those things? Am
Like,
I
why
asking
would
somebody
think
to
about
do
that? People
something
do
that
this is
I'm
what people, and this is kind of what I'm doing with the dating thing. You're gonna sit there and critique everybody that talks to you and have these demands. I want a man that's booming, booming. I want a woman that's booming. And you ain't, and you never say, okay, well, if I was to find this woman, if I was to find this guy, would he want me? Would she want me? Would this woman want me? And I'm gonna tell you right now, that answer is probably no. 99.9% of the time, if you're looking at people like that, that answer is no. Now, if you're a person that looks at things and goes, I'm a flawed man just like everybody else. There's good things about me. I gotta look at those bad things and do something, work on those, because that's not good. That doesn't work in relationships.
Yeah.
And so when I find someone else, I need to let them know, look, these are the good things about me, these are things that I'm working on, these are the things that I like that some people don't like. Are you okay with this package I'm delivering?
Yeah.
And people don't do that. Are you okay with this package? Because I got work to do too. I'm just letting you know, because because I tell people, once you get into that relationship, you're gonna find out everything they didn't say. You're about to find out what they didn't say. Because nobody meets you and go, yeah, I'm lazy. I don't like to go to work. I cheat all the time. Woo, lies. I'm the one. Like, no one's going to tell you that.
Yeah. And you know what I love about self-reflection and everything that we're talking about is you can only make real, beautiful change for yourself when you can see those things that you want to fix in yourself, right? Try to look at yourself and see those things that you need to fix before you go and try and fix other people, because you can't fix other people. They're going to be who they are going to be.
You can't fix them anyway.
You can't fix them. So you might as well say, I need to work on me because I need to be the best version of me, because that's when I think people find their other half the most, is when they come to a place where they're like working on themselves and they're not being so needy out there. They're not trying to grasp anything and everything that comes in their zone, right? They're working on themselves. So they've almost lost themselves in the dating scene, and they've created a better version of themselves.
I read stuff on Facebook. And this isn't, I'm going to talk about dating apps and Facebook and stuff. And a lot of these people don't really, really think about how people view what they post.
Yeah.
They don't do it. Like, they post stuff and I'm like, you are thirsty. You are thirsty. And if I'm thinking that, I'm the only one thinking that.
Yeah.
I ain't the only one thinking that. I always tell, that's why when people comment on my stuff, I'm like, okay, they ain't the only person thinking that. Good at that, right? Yeah. So if you write something that I don't care. You make a comment about something I said, and you're like, I didn't think you're wrong about this. I'm like, well, okay, there's a lot of people that probably think that. Do I need to change what I believe, or do I still stand by that? And if I still stand by it, then I still stand by it. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because you disagree. I still stand by this because I never talk about anything nothing I ever say is made up. I don't make up nothing. It ain't from the world of Idris. It's my personal experiences, my hundreds and hundreds of clients that I've worked with over 30 years, 20-something years. They're, and then all the studying and reading and, stuff I see. So everything is a collaboration of my own personal experiences, other people's experiences. And I'm starting to go, okay, you know what? It seems like everybody is looking at ourselves and we're just looking at other people. When we break up, all we do is keep talking about our exes and the things that they did, but we never ask ourselves, could I have done a better job? Could I have done things differently? We always look at he lied, he did that. Yeah, but you believed all those lies. Why are you so gullible? Why don't you ask more questions? Why don't you look into it further? Why did you fall in love in 2 weeks? How can you love somebody in 2 weeks? You don't even know them. I know people for 10 years and don't even know them.
Yeah,
So
and it's kind of crazy just listening to you say all that stuff is you can actually even implement it into what we're talking about on being able to
everything.
level up, right? Because if you are not like able to take a look at yourself and say, be honest with yourself and say, hey, I didn't do this or this here, and that's why this didn't work for me. Or,
Yes.
I'm not putting in 100% here, so this might be what my next level up is, right? Like maybe I'm going to the gym and I'm doing the least amount of work as possible. That's where you could step it up. And it's kind of like what you were saying in the beginning with those baby steps and just being able to say, like, start small. Don't go out and be like, oh, I need to get in better shape, I'm going to run a marathon in a week. Like take those smaller increases so that you can see the results and reflect on it and know what those bad habits are that are holding you back. Like I think that,
Like you said, you got to be honest. Like it was a guy I used to compete against, and I used to beat him all the time. He would take second to me, and he would always say he was robbed. Oh, I think I should have won. Oh, I thought I looked better. And I love that because I was like, he'll never get any better because he thinks he won already.
you're like, stay in that zone.
Stay right there.
Stay there, and then I'll keep being number one.
and I just kept and what I would do was go, okay, well, I won this show, but I need to win that show, and that guy's better than me, so I need to get like that. So I never took my placement and act like because I won, I was the greatest thing ever. I was like, no, I just won this show. There's a whole lot of other guys out there I've never stood next to on stage.
Yeah.
So I never took it for granted. If I didn't win, I never felt I was robbed. I was like, okay, he won. There's a reason he won. And most people chalk it up to politics. They'll go, oh, it's political because he knew the judges. I knew the judges when I took 13. I knew a lot of them, and I still took 13. I still took fourth. So I looked at those people. I'm like this. Okay, if you're gonna let that get in your way, you're not a problem.
Oh yeah, that's like actually one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to anything in life, whether it's fitness or a job that you're trying to get or anything like that, or even like dating, right? Because we get in our heads that like if we make an excuse to make ourselves feel better, then what does that really do for us? Is it actually helping us to progress, or are we
stifles you?
An excuse, right?
It stifles you. Stops you right in your tracks.
It keeps you right at that level, and you become comfortable because you had an excuse that made you feel better. Like I had my kids; they went and they tried out for this theater production that was going on, right? And they didn't get the lead parts. And one of my daughter's friends' moms was taking her home from this audition. And well, not the audition's already happened, but from their first practice. And she's like, oh, they don't ever pick these people because of their religious views. And my daughter came home and told me that they didn't get picked for these parts because of their religious views were different. And I said, no, you never ever believe that. Don't ever let that be okay in your head. That just means that this other kid may have had the talent that maybe you need to work in this area or this area. And some of you kids are better actors than you are singers. Some of you are better for a villain part, and some of you are better for like the princess part, right? That's like the one thing that I really hate in this world is we're like all okay with having this excuse for us to stay at the place that we are. What does that do for us? That just makes us stay in that place so we can't level up, so that we can't better ourselves. We can't be a better version of ourselves. I want more than anything for my kids to be able to look at a job opportunity or a relationship and say, you know what? I deserve better. I'm not going to stay in this place because I can see what I need to work on so that I can up my level. And I think that's like something that I see all the time.
But now is the best time for her to hear this so she can bring it home so you can actually set her straight.
Yeah.
Because that's what people don't take advantage of. I'd love my kids to go out and hear some craziness because they're going to at least and bring it back to me. Hey, Dad, I heard blah, blah, blah. And then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't make it safe for their kids to come up to them and bring up subjects like that, racism or sex or whatever. You got to make it easy for your kid to bring it up to you. You have to. So
I
like
know.
that girl came to her mother. Now that's her mother's opinion. Her mother is like, she doesn't know that's why. She just made that. Unless she knows for a fact that's the reason, you shouldn't tell anybody that's the reason. Because now all of a sudden her daughter or whoever's in earshot, some of them are going to believe it and be like, oh, so it's because of that. When she don't really know if that was the reason.
And the crazy thing is it spreads and starts hatred towards people or productions, right? That really don't exist. It's just because someone's excuse, and sometimes it can exist. I'm not gonna leave that.
No, it could be. She could be. That's why I didn't say she was wrong. What I said was she has no idea.
Yeah.
If for a fact, that'd be different. But she doesn't know. she doesn't know. And that's my point. Like, why would you say something when you know you don't really know if that's true? Yeah, it could be. It could very well be true, but you don't know.
And it puts you in a spot to where you feel like I'm already good enough and I don't have to put out more effort, right? And I never want my kids to feel like they can't ever achieve more than what they have been able to achieve. That
or overcome things like that.
Yeah.
Some things like that. Let's be real, okay? Things in this society exist. A lot of bad things. Racism exists. Sexism exists, right? People are racist. People are sexist. Yeah. But you can overcome that too.
Yeah.
So just because that's the case doesn't mean you got to succumb to it.
Yeah.
But it's like that everywhere. You go to, please, I want somebody to take me to that country where racism doesn't exist. Please take me there.
Right. Cloud9, I don't know.
Unless it's a tribe on an island where and even then they're gonna have their own, you ain't strong as me, you're this. It's everywhere. It's human nature to do that.
I always tell my kids, I'm like, you know what? The hard thing about this world is nothing in this life will ever be equal. Nothing in this life will ever be even, because we all have differences. It doesn't matter whether it's our skin color, it's our sex, or whatever. There's going to continue to be differences for the rest of
identical twins aren't equal.
Mm-mm.
You can't get any closer than that, and they're not even equal. Yeah. Sometimes one is really good at art, the other one's good at singing, or the other one is good at intellectual thought, and the other one is, you know what I'm saying? Like even twins aren't equal. So, we're in a weird world, and it's kind of what I, part of my dating thing is being, being a little more humble about yourself when you go out and date. Like, we're teaching people we're teaching a lot of men and women to have this sense of a false sense of pride. Like, oh, I'm all that. I'm not a 4, I'm a 10. I'm this, I'm great, I'm a catch. I'm such a cat. Is that really who you really want to date? Somebody that puts themselves above you? That's basically what they're, because I'm not all of that stuff. I'm a regular dude, man. I got some things I do really good. I got some things I ain't so great at. So if I'm meeting, and I think a lot of these, and I'm gonna talk about that, a lot of these women, they're putting out this image of they're this perfect person. And the truth is I'm not a perfect person. So why would you want me? I would never talk to a woman. I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was single, I never spoke to women who talked to me that like they were so great, because I'm not that great. And I'm like, you're gonna be looking down on me. Yeah. You're gonna be looking down on me. I don't need to date you. I want to date somebody who's humble about themselves. I want to date somebody who's just like me, working on it. Work in progress, under construction.
Yeah, working on it, but also lifting you up and helping you get to the next level for yourself, because
yeah. But if you're working on yourself, you're that kind of, you have that mind anyway.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, I want somebody who knows that they have flaws and who wants to get better themselves, just like I do, so we could do it together. Because now you tolerate my shortcomings and work with me, and I tolerate yours and work with you. But if you think you're just all that, the bag soda in the drink and the coaster, then you don't have any room for improvement. And we know that ain't true.
It's a dangerous
so now I'm in a relationship with somebody who's unrealistic. They're gonna be And anyone, when I met people, the minute they put themselves in this, I was like, okay, gone. No need for a second cup of coffee. No need for dinner. I ain't taking you to dinner. I ain't taking nobody to dinner like that.
Okay, well, we actually went over on our time, but this has been fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
Conversations,
and I love these conversations.
You know,
but you gotta check out my dating thing. You're gonna like it. I'm not at the good part yet. I'm gonna get to the good part on how to dating apps and how you should look at dating apps, because I went to some crazy stuff, man. I'm gonna talk about.
I bet. Actually, it would be fun to have somebody else who's been on those dating apps that is a woman, right? To hear your perspectives. I think
because I do talk to people about it.
As a guest, and I'll be like the panel person to ask the questions, and I'll get out the boxing gloves for you guys.
Well, it's not even a boxing glove thing. It's really what we see and the experiences I've had, and that's really it. Like, wow, and how I got through. How I was, because I didn't like it. I quit sometimes. I got frustrated. I got
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, "You're looking at it way wrong."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, you got to look at this like a job interview, because it's the biggest job of your life, the person that you spend your life with. And you got to act like, and it was really good. It was a different way. And then I didn't get as frustrated as much. I still ran into a bunch of no's, but I wasn't frustrated.
Yeah. No, that'll be fun. I think we need to do something.
You like that idea, don't you?
Awesome. Well, thanks, Coach Idris. This has been fun, and I need to plan a workout with you. So, because your workouts are bomb, and I think that I learned so much, a wealth of information, being able to do those with you. So, yeah.
Well, text me later, and then let's pick a date.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Coach Idris. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.
Okay, you guys, this was a fun one. We kind of talked a lot about different things, but honestly, just be honest with yourself. If you're not doing your program right now, then how can you make changes? How can you level up? So first of all, make sure that you're consistent with whatever you're doing with your workout or your health or in your nutrition. And then after you've been on that and you've seen results and maybe those results stop, then question it. Wonder what's happening within your body. And if you don't have the information, get help with that, Make sure that you're educated in how you need to change those things. And sometimes working with a coach is the way to go. Maybe you already know what you're lacking in, because you're like, yeah, I'm pretty lazy, or yeah, I could step up my game here, or I could stop snacking here. Those are things that only you can do for yourself if you're working on that fitness goal for yourself. But level up no matter what it is. Make sure that you're consistent, be honest with yourself, and it's time to level up, guys. So make it happen. You guys have an amazing weekend. Love you guys.